I was listening. Can you turn me down a little bit? I was listening to the live. I didn't hear anybody say anything about that spontaneous one we got last week about being broke because you're not honoring your parents. Ain't nobody had said nothing about that. Not nobody. You reached out to your daddy. Okay. What? You can still call them. That's fine. You keep calling. God is not looking at how they treat you. He's looking at how you treat them. And you don't want to stop up your finances just because you're not honoring your parents. Because not only are you stopping up your finances, you're cutting your days short. You're cutting your days short. It's not about how they treated you. It's about how you treat them. When you stand before God, He's still going to say, but what did you do? And what they had, I didn't ask anything about what they did. What did you do? So don't let the fact that you're not honoring your parents stop up your family, your financial blessings. Don't do it. Honor them. I ain't saying you got to be buddy with them. I ain't saying you got to talk to them every single day. What I am saying is honor them. All right? So we are talking about the principles, God's principles of finances in order to build a strong financial foundation. How many people here would love to have a strong foundation, a financial foundation? You know, not even that you have to be rich, but you solid. Listen, first time I went to therapy and I realized I really had issues, the therapist said, "What do you do for fun?" I said, "Fun? Think about that one." It took a minute. He said, "Well, what makes you happy?" I said, "Oh, I can do happy." I said, "All my bills is paid, my house is clean, my car's clean, and a full tank of gas. I ain't even got to have another dime. I'm happy. I'm happy. It don't take much. I'm happy." But I had to realize that I did nothing for myself to bring forth happiness. The first assignment that this one gave me, he said, "I want you to take 2 sheets of paper, and for the next week, when you come back to see me, I want you to write on 1 sheet everything you do for yourself. And then I want you to write on the other sheet everything that you do for someone else." Now, I wasn't a pastor yet. I was still out there in the world. I was chilling out in the world at this time, you know. But even then, I'm still me. I was worldly and still ain't give myself time. I went back and I had my 1 sheet and I had 4 things I think it was up there that I did for myself. And I had 2 sheets back in front of stuff that I did for other people. Something to make you say, because I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. And it's good and it's fine to do things for other people, but it's not good to do more for others than you do for yourself. It's sinning, because I am to love others as I love myself. If I do more for everybody else than I do for myself, that means I'm neglecting me. Sad part about it is, when you are a person who neglects yourself, it is hard for you to be in a relationship or get a relationship or keep a man or keep a woman, because you want that person to give to you more than you're willing to give to yourself. It's quiet. You don't give it to yourself, but you want them to do, you don't love you enough to do it for you, but you want somebody else to love you enough to do it for you. Listen, people will treat you the way that they see you treat you. You teach them how to love you by how they see you loving you. And if they see you don't ever do nothing for yourself, then they know they ain't got to do nothing for you either. Just something to make you say, All right, so building a strong financial foundation. If you have not been trustworthy handling worldly wealth, who will trust you with the true riches of eternity? Jesus. Don't keep asking me for more of my spirit. And I can't even trust you with money. Don't ask me to increase your territory, increase your giftings, and I can't trust you with money. Why would I trust you with the real riches if I can't trust you with mammon? God's financial plan. There are many people who have lived their entire life under tension concerning money. Will I have enough? They're living from month to month, never being able to catch up. And sadly, they are going to live their entire lives in debt. How many of y'all going to live your entire life in debt? Nobody want to accept that one, huh? Oh, you don't take this lesson, you will. The reason why they live this way is because they are ignoring God's word about financial planning. Therefore, they suffer the consequences of their disobedience. If you don't look at the principles, which are the laws of God, and have those in application in your life, knowing them ain't good enough. You have to know them and do them. And if you're not willing to do them, that means you are living a life of disobedience. And when you are living a life of disobedience, then you get the consequences of being a disobedient child. What are some of the things you do to a disobedient child? Beat they tail. The Bible says, spare the rod, spoil the child. The Bible says that the rod bring the Bible said that the rod brings forth wisdom. When I beat you, you get smarter. Y'all laughing, that's the word. If I don't beat you, you stay foolish. But if I beat you, you get smarter. That's the word. And it says somewhere it'll save your soul. Whoop me and save my soul. You know? But you cut back on what you're willing to give them. What you're willing to do for them. Listen, an obedient child, I got an obedient child, they can have whatever they want from me. You can have whatever you like. Hey. Because as a mother who loves her children, it blesses me to be able to bless my kids. I don't know about y'all, but it actually hurts me when I can't give my kids something that I want them to have. It hurts me. It's like, why won't you just act right so I can give you stuff? I always throw Shelly under the bus. I'm gonna throw Michael out there this time. This last time, Michael needed a car. Listen, I ain't want my baby having no hoopty. I was like, I think he had about $3,000 or $4,000 that he had on a car. I was like, listen, I'm gonna just put another $4-5 to it and just buy him a nice car. But then he started walking around with an attitude, don't want to say nothing. So it's like, boy, I want to buy you a car. And I was sending him cars that was like $5 more than what he had to spend. And he acted like I was ignorant or something. He wrote back to my mama, this one $8,000. I know how much it cost when I sent it to you. So evidently, if I know how much you got and I sent you the car, that means I got you. I got you. I just went ahead and let him buy his own car. Because I'm a parent who wants my children to have the best. And so when they're obedient, I want to give them everything. But when they're disobedient, it hurts me because I want them to have everything and can't give it to them. I want you to know that that's our Heavenly Father. He wants to give us so much. But when we're disobedient, you tie his hands and he can't give it to you. he can't give it to you. I think Naya is like the most obedient one I got right now. So no matter where I go, I make sure I bring something back for Naya. We went to the banquet Sunday. I brought her back a white chocolate candy apple. You know what I'm saying? Just anything, because I appreciate every time I call her to do something, she jumps up and she does it. So that means everywhere I go, I'm going to be thinking about her. Why? Because she's being an obedient child. Don't be a disobedient child and expect me to bring you stuff. Don't do it. I don't care how much of an attitude you get. I got an attitude because you're disobedient. How about that? You know? But if you're obedient, I don't mind giving out anything. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like my Heavenly Father. I'm made in His image. When we are obedient, He wants to give us anything we want. He loves us so much that He wants us to have the best of everything. But He cannot go against His word and give you the best of everything when you won't be obedient to Him. You tie His hands. Okay? His word said, I wish above all things that you may prosper, even as your soul prospers. What He's saying, I want you to be successful. I want you to have everything you want, everything you need, but I can't let you do it because in order for me to let you do it, your soul got to prosper. In order for your soul to prosper, that means your soul has to be living obedient to His will. So as my soul lives obedient to His will, He begins to give me other stuff and help me to prosper. But He say, I want you to. I wish above all things that you would prosper. He wants it for us. He ain't sitting up in heaven saying, I bet you they ain't going to get this. I bet you they ain't going to get that. He's saying, why won't they get this? Why won't they let me bless them? Why? God is a God of laws. He has established the entire universe on laws that are unchangeable. Laws of physics do not change. Some things are just dependable, like the law of gravity. No matter what day of the week we wake up, no matter what time of the day we wake up, gravity got us. Ain't none of us flying. Ain't nobody Superman, Superwoman. We are all walking around here like everybody else. Gravity is a law that does not change. God has established the physical universe with physical laws, and He has also established the spiritual universe with spiritual laws. First spiritual, then natural. First spiritual, then natural. Whatsoever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. It happens there first, and then it comes down to the earth. God's laws are unchangeable. Listen, the word of God that we're going to read tonight, the principles, the laws that He's teaching us tonight, He don't change them for you, me, or nobody else. He doesn't change them for you. They are unchangeable, okay? There are laws of health that if you follow them, you will be healthier. There are laws of relationships that if you follow them, you will have stronger relationships. The Bible teaches us that there are spiritual laws of finances. Spiritual laws of finances. And in order for our finances, the foundation of our finances to be solid, to be strong, we must obey the spiritual laws of finance. Surprising biblical fact, Jesus talked more about money than He talked about heaven or hell. There are more parables about money than any other subject. Why is this? He knew we would spend so much time stressing about it. Money is the number one stressor for everybody. Unless you got money. But you know what? It would still become a stressor when you got money, because when you got money, everybody keep asking for it. Yeah? Yeah. More money, more problems. How do we get it? How do we save it? How do we use it? How do we give it? How do we invest it? We have all these questions about money, all these questions about money. If we think we know anything about another subject, we good. But when it comes to money, we full of questions. But Christians shouldn't worry. When we worry, we are saying, I've got this. When we let go of our worries, we are saying, God, you've got this. As Christians, it is our gift to not worry. What you have to ask yourself is, are you receiving your gift? Ain't that right, Sister Regina? If you are obedient to God's financial laws, you will be blessed. It's just that simple. Obedience equal blessing. Obedience equal blessing. If you ignore God's financial laws, you will live your entire life in debt. So you don't have to pay attention in Bible study. But let me tell you something, especially for y'all kids. If y'all learn this now, it's easy to start the right way now than have to go back and fix it later. It's easier to do it the right way the first time than to have to break that whole entire foundation up and start. We may not always like these laws, but if we obey them, they work. It's just that simple. This should be the Bible study that everybody listen to, no matter what age, gender, color, creed, because everybody wants to be financially free. Nobody wants to stress about finances, so why not learn? God loves to do financial miracles. However, he won't do it if you won't change the way you manage your money. What's the point? Is there anybody here tonight that did not get the handout from last week? We need a couple handouts, y'all. They put them in the office? Okay. When she come back, lift your hand, she'll bring you one. He loves to do financial miracles. But what's the point of him doing this financial miracle for you if you still going to turn around and go right back? Listen, be real. How many of y'all ever got out of debt and then turned right around and got back in debt again? You see, look around. Look around. Look around. So then, what's the point of him opening the Red Sea if you're going to swim back to Egypt? That came out of nowhere. You did that, Jesus. What I need to waste my powers opening up the Red Sea and let you walk across on dry land for if you're going to swim right back to Egypt? I could use that miracle somewhere else. Why would he bail you out if you're just going to continue going deeper in debt? Sadly, some people take God's miracles for granted. What do I mean? When he blesses you and bails you out of debt this time, you go back and get in debt again and be like, the Lord made a way before, he'll make a way again. And don't do that. Okay? So there are 6 laws of God for building financial freedom. If you follow these, it will change your entire life. If you follow them. I'm a living witness. I'm not just teaching it. I live by this. If you follow these rules, it will change your entire life. Number 1, remember God is my source. God is my source. When God is your source, you never run out of anything good. When God is your source, you never run out of anything good. 2 Corinthians 9:8, and God is able to make all grace, a little bit of grace? No, all grace abound toward you, that ye, always having sufficiency, always having all sufficiency. I forgot that all word again. Always having, look at how many times they say all. Look, I thought I was saying it too many times. And God is able to make all grace abound towards you, that ye, always having all sufficiency in all things, may abound to every good work. That mean everything. You say, I want to make sure you got everything, that you are sufficient in every area of your life. That's what I want for you. Will you get it? This is the law of ownership. It is the law of ownership. Philippians 4:19. It reads, and my God shall supply all your needs according to his riches and glory by Christ Jesus. Now, last time I checked, the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof, so that means he has all riches. So he's saying he's going to supply all my needs according to his riches and glory. That means that's inexhaustible. That's inexhaustible. He will never run out of blessings for me. I know, right? Thank you, Jesus. He'll never run out. That's why I don't need to be jealous of nobody beside me, because he never runs out of blessing for me. I don't have to be jealous because you got blessed, because you know what? All I'm going to do is keep on being obedient. And if that's the desire of my heart and I'm living according to his word, I can get it too. I don't need to be jealous. The only people who are jealous are people who really don't have faith in God. We ain't running low, they just ain't ready. Listen. Now, that's a whole nother lesson. But I'm going to tell you, he said, I'm preparing husbands for you, is the word that he said. Because it wasn't just for me. You want to listen to the whole word? I'm preparing husbands for you. Where your husband is right now, he ain't ready for you. I don't want to send him too early because it will stunt you. So what you need to start doing is praying for your husband, that he gets in line. Now, he ain't give me no word for y'all. You say husbands. Yeah, Bishop Hill gave y'all one. I'm just telling you what he told me. I just forgot to tell y'all. So you need to be praying for your husband that he gets in the will of God, because where he is spiritually right now, he's not ready for you. He's supposed to come in to be the head, but he hasn't spiritually been able to be the head of himself. So how can God bring him and present him to you, and he can't lead himself? And can't lead himself doesn't mean that he's not saved. It could mean he still got to build up self-esteem, which we all understand. It could be that he got saved, but he really wasn't in church. Nevertheless, we can suspect anything, but he says he's not where you are. So I got to work on him a little bit more. So how about you speed up the process by sending up prayers for him? Bless my husband, God. Help him grow in your grace. This is the critical cornerstone of our financial foundation. Knowing that he is the source and he will supply all of my needs. That is the critical cornerstone of your financial foundation. Meaning you can't build any further in your financial foundation until you understand and believe this truth. If you forget this, you will live with financial tension. Always trying to figure out how you're going to get it done. Because you will think your source of supply is your job, your bank account, your investments, your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your mom and them. You looking at everybody else to be your source, except who is the source. You must put your security in something that can never be taken from you. If your job is your source, what happens when you get fired? Laid off, the company folds. If your bank account is your source, what happens if it gets frozen? You have to understand that God is your source, and I don't care what goes crazy. God is still going to supply all of my needs according to his riches and glory. Because we have to learn to put our security in something that can never be taken from us. Listen, if you still calling mama and them for money, mama and them can be taken away from you. You got to learn how to put on your big girl drawers, your big boy drawers, and learn how to get out there and hustle and make things happen for yourself, which means trusting in God, being obedient to God, and working out your own relationship with him to be able to supply all of your needs. God wants you to be productive. He wants you to be productive. Deuteronomy 8:18 states, always remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you the ability to produce wealth. Now, he wants to give you the ability to produce wealth. But if you ain't remembering him, he can't let you make wealth. If you're thinking that it's all about you and what you can do, he's not going to give you the ability. So in everything you do, you bring God first. In everything you do. Before you spend any money, you bring God first. Before you loan any money, you bring God first. God, should I really buy this car? I mean, how many times do y'all come to me with stuff and I say, what did God say? You like, well, I ain't talked to God. What you talking to me for? I ain't God. I ain't nowhere near him. If you don't want to go to him, then don't come to me. Because I can only give you the answers that he gives me. So why not cut out the middleman and go straight to him? Oh, you ain't got no relationship. Boom. I don't know if he answered me or not. Oh, so you don't have a relationship where you know his voice? That means you need to start working out your own soul salvation. You don't even know how God communicates with you. You don't know how he communicates with you. Now, don't get all deep thinking that he says, Michelle, I want you to buy this car. No. Listen, if God talking to you like that, you need to go see a psychiatrist for real. Listen, even prophets don't have out-of-body hearing. Listen, let me hear that voice outside of my head. I'm running. Because it ain't God. That ain't how he talk to me. Right? Don't let people make you think that they so deep that they hear God, an out-of-body voice of God speaking to them. No. It ain't like them Bible movies where they say, no, that ain't the way he do it. Okay? It's an internal voice. If God doesn't give you the ability, you couldn't produce any wealth. If God didn't give you the activity of your limbs, you couldn't work your job. I don't care how, I work 80 hours a week. I did this by myself. No, you didn't, because last time I checked, you breathing his oxygen. If he didn't let you breathe his air, you couldn't work. So how dare you act as if whatever job you got, whatever money you got, you did it. The devil is a lie. You ain't did nothing. Right? There's nothing wrong with prospering as long as you do it God's way. As long as you do it God's way. You don't do it by manipulation or stealing. No manipulation, no stealing, or nothing. You do it God's way. Romans 11:36. Everything comes from God. What comes from him? Everything. Everything comes from God. Everything exists by his power, and everything is intended for his glory, including you. It's all about him. It is all about him. Which means if I don't always remember him, he cannot give me the ability to gain wealth. It all belongs to him. Living a stewardship life is about your heart. Everything we have is a gift from God that we are to use to help others. So the number one principle, the principle of ownership. God owns it all. He loans some to me. Realize what you think you own is really on loan. God says, I am your source. If you get this one down, the others will come a whole lot easier. He is your what? And it is the principle of what? Ownership. Number 2, honor God first. The law of tithing. Now, don't get your panties in a bunch, because every time I talk about tithing, people in the church get all tight because you know you ain't tithing, you tithing or you tipping God. Well, whatever. If you tithing or tipping God, then you understand why you broke. And listen, you tip God and you tip your waitress more than you tip God. You give your waitress 15 to 18% and won't give God 10. What? That's just stupid. That's just stupid. How dare I give a human being for bringing a plate to the table that they ain't pay for? They ain't even cooked the food or nothing. All they did was take somebody else's plate, some food somebody else cooked. They picked it up and brought it to my table. And I'm going to give them 15, 18%, but I can't get the God who wakes me up, gives me my right mind and the activity of my limbs, I can't give him 10. That's just stupid. Whatever you want God to bless in your life, you put him first in. If you want God to bless your marriage, put God first in your marriage. If you want God to bless your career, put him first in your career. If you want God to bless your education, put God first in your education. If you want God to bless your finances, put God first in your finances. It's just that simple. Whatever you want him to bless, make sure he's over it. Don't tell him to bless some stuff that he ain't got no authority over, because you wouldn't give it to him. Tithing, giving the first tenth of your income. Now, I am going to cover the promise of tithing, the purpose of tithing, the place to tithe, and the time to tithe. I know y'all already know all this, right? But just in case you don't know, I'm going to make sure it's covered in every angle. The promise for tithing, the purpose of tithing, the place you are to tithe, and the time you are to tithe. Number one, the purpose for tithing. Proverbs 3, verses 9 and 10, Living Bible. Honor the Lord by giving him the first part. You know what I'm saying? Honor the Lord by giving him some of what you got left. Honor the Lord by giving him the first part of a little bit of your income. All of your income, and he will fill your barns to overflow. That is the promise for your tithing. The promise for your tithing. If you give God first, listen, the word tithe means a tenth. This, let me help y'all out too. It is not tithes. I get so irritated when people say tithes. It is not T-I-D-E-S. The tide, what are tides? It's not tides. It's not the waves and the tides. It's T-I-T-H-E, tithe. Tithe. The word tithe means a tenth. Why is it a tenth? God could have said 20%. He could have said 50%. Why is it a tenth? I don't know. Ask when we get up there. I think he wanted to make it a small, because it's just a testing thing. He didn't want it to be big. You understand?
I really wasn't trying to do this loudly, but you said purpose.
You won't try to do it loud. Boy, you on the World Wide Web. You better go right there. He said, speak up so we can hear you in the back.
You said purpose loudly. Is it promise or purpose?
I said the promise, the purpose.
But she was like, the purpose. And I was like,
oh, I read it wrong? I made a mistake? I'm sorry. Okay. This is the first one, the promise. I said purpose? Sorry. You can read it. The promise for tithing. So that if I give him the first part of all my income, he gonna do what? Fill my barns with overflow. Just because I gave him a tithe of my income. What is income? What I make. All your increase. Anytime you get blessed with some money. All the money you get, you don't work for. Huh? He didn't say from your wages. He said from your increase. Birthday money, seed, whatever increases your life, increases dime. It had to be him to bless somebody's heart to give you something anyway. Okay. God obviously doesn't need your money. He wants what it represents, which is your heart. Somewhere around there in the word it says, where your heart is, that is where your treasure will be also. So if your heart is with God, you have no problem giving him a tithe of your treasure. If your heart is really with him. The only people who struggle with tithing are people who don't have God in their heart. They might go to church. They might be a part of ministry, but God's not in their heart because they would not complain about giving somebody they love a tithe. If everybody gets paid, if anybody gonna get paid, it's God. Listen, you don't supposed to pay Am bill. Now Am bill, buy Am outfit, buy Am stitch of food. Until honor the Lord by giving him the first part of all your income. The first part. What's the easiest way to give God the first part? Online tithing. Online tithing. Zelle. Well, we won't try to do Cash App with tithing. We won't try to do that. But Zelle. Because then I know I'm giving God his off the top. I'm just saying. Yes. Yes. All right? He wants the first part, the first tenth of everything goes to him.
Yeah. This is like the intent to give the first, like, so like let's say you owe money and they got access to your bank and they just take your joint without you even knowing yet.
I mean, he knows that.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm checking.
You know what I'm saying? But the same, listen, if you know every week you make a certain amount of money every week, you can have that where it automatically comes out too. The military always did an allotment. You know? Okay, so his question was, what if you do it at the end of the month? Okay. If somebody owe you some money, do you want them to wait till the end of the month? Do you want them to wait? I ain't say they had to, or that's just the way they set up their account. Do you want them to wait to the end, or you want yours as soon as they get it? Give me my stuff as soon as you get it. Don't worry holding on to my money. You don't hold on to my money and let it grow interest a whole month before you give me mine. What's wrong with you? Give me my money, let me get my own interest. I'm just talking like how, God probably, what I'm saying. But you don't want nobody to wait to pay you. If they owe you something, you want it as soon as they get it. So you treat God the way you would want to be treated. He owns it all. Everything I have came from him in the first place. So how am I going to, not want to give him nothing when everything I got came from him? That's like not wanting to give your mama a Mother's Day gift and you living in her house, sleeping in the bed that she bought, wearing the clothes that she bought, and you talking about, I ain't get her nothing for Mother's Day. Ninja. That's just stupid. She said that hard, didn't she? Yeah, she waiting for me to say. He says, if you can do that, if you can give me the tithe, it shows me that you really trust me. If you can give me tithe without complaining, it shows me that you can really trust me. However, it also tells me that I can trust you, so I can bless you. When I can trust you, I can bless you. When I can trust you, I don't have to limit blessings because I know whatever I bless you with, you're going to do the right thing with it. I don't have to sit and wonder, I hope they'll do right this time. No, he said, when I can trust you, your blessings can be unlimited because I know that you're going to always do the right thing with it. You have learned that you are blessed to be a blessing. I know that if I bless you and give you overflow, you ain't going to keep it all for yourself. You're going to help somebody else. Of course. The purpose for tithing. I got it right that time. The purpose for tithing. The purpose for tithing is to teach you always to put God first in your lives. You can read that in Deuteronomy 14:23, B clause. Yeah. No, I just made it up. Oh, that's what it say. I ain't trying to go to hell. When we tithe, there's a past, present, and future application. When you tithe, there's a past, present, and future application. All three at the same time when you tithe. Want to hear it? Here it go. It says, I am grateful for the past. I am grateful that you embodied me, that you employed me, that you helped me to go out and get this increase. I thank you for that past. It also says, God is number one in my present. I thank you for my past, but I want you to know that you are first in my life right now. And it says, I'm trusting him for my future. And because you're first in my life right now, I know that you are going to bless me according to your word, and you're going to take care of me in the future. So when I tithe, there is a past, present, and future application. Thank you for my past. You're number one in my present, and I'm trusting you for my future. God wants to know, do you trust me? Do you trust me? Because I can't trust you until you first trust me. You see, he loved us first, but we have to trust him first. I love him because he first loved me. You can't say I trust him because he first trusts me. No, he don't trust you like that. He don't trust you until you trust him. The place for tithing. Giving is worship. Giving back to the one who first gave. Tithing is an act of worship. I need you to understand that. So when you're refusing to tithe, you are refusing to worship in that area. Tithing is an act of worship. Therefore, you should tithe at your house of worship. You should tithe at your house of worship. Malachi 3:10, bring to my storehouse a full tenth, not tithe, not eyes and tips. He says, bring to my storehouse a full tenth of what you earn. Test me in this, saith the Lord. I will open the windows of heaven for you and pour out all the blessings you need. Now, some of us hear that and we're like, well, I've been needing a blessing. He ain't poured out yet. What was your heart posture when you tithe? Did you tithe saying, God, I'm going to tithe because I need a blessing? Well, baby, you ain't going to get it. Your tithe is supposed to be because I obey you. I honor you. I respect you. Therefore, I tithe. Tithe is not a lottery. Well, I need to pay my bill. Let me go on tithe and see if they say you get back 100-fold. You ain't going to get it, boo-boo. It's about your heart posture. You know what I'm saying? God dares you because God never uses anyone greatly until he tests them deeply. So if you keep failing all your tests, that's why he can't trust you spiritually. Say that again. You keep failing all your tests. Ooh, I fail. What's that girl Britney Spears? Oops, I did it again. Well, you keep failing. Don't ask him to use you. Okay? He never uses anyone greatly until he's tested them deeply. God says, I dare you. Try me. Test me. You give to me and I'll give to you, and let's see who wins. Let's see who can give who more. Test me and see won't I do it. What is the storehouse? The temple. Bring your tithe to his temple. Giving to charity is a good thing, but it's not your tithing. I remember I was a teen, and I was talking to this girl who had a telemarketer job or something, and I was asking her, I was like, well, do you tithe? She's like, well, when the Lord leads me to, I bless people in need. That's not tithing. That's not tithing. That's acts of kindness. You ain't gave nobody nothing. You don't tell the Lord what you going to do with the money that he says he is. But this your 10%, God, so I'm going to bless this family over here. You don't tell him what you going to do with his money. He didn't tell you take it to the family in need. He said bring it to my storehouse. Helping a relative in need is a good thing, but it's not tithing. Giving to someone who's homeless on the street is a good thing, but it's not tithing. Don't get it confused. You don't take your tenth and do what you want to do with it and say, I paid my tithe by helping others. That's like Harold owing me money and then say, I owe you this money, so Rod needed some money, so I'm going to go ahead and give it to him. No, you ain't going to get him my money. If you give him that money, then you gave him that money. You still owe me my money. That was your choice. I didn't tell you to give my money to him. So you gave your money to him and you still owe me mine. Y'all laughing like it's me. That's God. I didn't tell you to give that money to him. The secret of a happy life is giving God the first part of your day, the first priority of every decision, and the first place in your life. Tithe is more than just money. Tithe is your life, the best part of your life, the first part of your day. When to tithe? Tithing is an act of worship, therefore I give at the place of worship. This tells God you are number one in my life. When am I supposed to do it? 1 Corinthians 16:2. On the first day of every week, put aside some of what you have earned during the week and use it for the offering. The amount depends on how much the Lord has helped you to earn. That's in the word. So now I ain't supposed to hold it to the end of the month. It says on the first day of every week. What's the first day of the week? Sunday. Listen, everything you want to know is in the word. It's on the first day of every week, put aside some of what you earn during the week and use it for the offering. The amount depends on how much the Lord has helped you. So I'm putting some aside for the offering, depending on how much God has given me. But at the same time, I'm tithing. When I give my offering, my tithe is my protection and my provision. My offering is free will. Listen, if all you do is tithe, then God only has to protect you and provide for you. The only way that you move into overflow is your offering. And that's where so many of y'all mess up. Y'all were tithe, but y'all get that George Washington every offering. Well, that's your overflow, 100-fold. You get an extra $100. Okay, that's on you. But the only way to reach your overflow is when you're willing to give him overflow. Bless you. But tithing is your protection and your provision. To make sure he be a fence of protection around you and to make sure that your bills stay paid, but it's not your your wants and desires. That's not what tithing does. I'm a tithe and the Lord gonna give me everything I want. No, that comes from your overflow. It's not about the month. It's not about the amount. You earn a lot, you give a lot. You earn a little, you give a little. You don't earn anything, you don't give anything. Okay? It's proportional giving, and this is such a blessing. It is such a blessing that it's proportional giving. Listen, like when you are a part of like those big church networks, and they say every church got to give $500, every quarter. Okay, if that church ain't got but 10 members, that $500 hurt that church to give up, right? I thank God that he's a proportional giver. He gives us according to what we, if you ain't get but $1, he said, give me 10 cents and you good with me. That's a blessing. He could have gave an amount, and we'd all be struggling to get that amount. But you know what I'm saying? But he does proportional giving. Give me at the proportion that I give to you. I don't want you to give me more than what I gave you the ability to get. Protection and provision. Mm-hmm. Right. Overflow comes from your overflow. I give the first part of my money on the first day of the week. This again says, God, you are really number one. It's not just lip service. I'm not just a Christian in a title, but you are really first in my life. Put aside means you have to plan it. A lot of y'all don't give offering because y'all don't plan offering. You don't plan offering. And then you do that little nice thing that you know, trick yourself out and saying, oh, I forgot to get cash. Oh, I forgot to. No, listen. God wants you to plan to make him first. He wants you to plan to make him first. A better thing to do is to give your offering with your tithing and just write it on the envelope. $70 tithing, $30 towards the offering this week. You understand? That's the best thing to do, you know, because otherwise you'll find yourself forgetting to give offering. Sometimes the spirit move and you forget to give God overflow. You know. I don't want you to miss your blessing. I don't want you to miss your blessing. You know? But the way I used to do, but this is back then, the way I used to do, okay, every Wednesday I want to get $5. See, you got to plan it. You got to plan it, financial planning. Every Wednesday I want to get $5. Every Friday I want to get $10. Every Sunday I want to get $20. So that's $35 for the week. You know? But that's back then when I was a fresh minister. You know what I'm saying? But you give according to how he gives you.
My question is, where does seed fall into this? Like when you hear a word and you want to give a seed.
That's you planting. You're planting into the God in them. Because if they didn't have their relationship with God, they wouldn't have been able to give you exactly what you needed in order to go forward.
Because I know sometimes, like, we say, like, set aside a seed.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's according to you and what you want to sow in. It's according to your faith. You don't have to seed.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to seed. But the Bible say that they're worthy of double honor. You know? So God is like, you going to give me, they worthy of double honor. Did my job. They said yes. You understand? Like my parents, because I was adopted, I felt like they deserved double honor, right? It's one thing when you had your fun and you produced a kid. It's your duty to take care of that kid. But when you ain't had no parts of the fun and this kid is here and now you take on the responsibility of taking care of this kid, they're worthy of double honor because they made a choice to take care of a child. It wasn't consequence of their fun. So I felt like until the day that they die, I'm going to make sure they good. And that's what I did because they didn't have to take care of me. They chose to. I don't understand how some people be like, I can't stay my adopted parents. What is wrong with you? They didn't have to let you in their house. They deserve double honor because they made a choice to say yes. Mama and them just got caught. It's not emotional giving. It's not pressure giving. It's cheerful giving. Cheerful giving. Number 3, our last one for tonight is save money faithfully. Do you guys realize that God commands us to save money? Ooh, who been sinning? Who been sinning? Who been sinning? It's a command. He actually says in the word, you determine your IQ by your ability to save. You want to see it? Not how much of my money will I give to God, but how much of God's money will I keep for myself? It is the law of investing. The law of investing. God commands you to save your money. Do not spend it all. His word says the man who invests his money is wise. The one who doesn't is a fool. When I invest my money works for me instead of me working for my money. If you say you can't afford to save, then you are outspending your income. You are outspending your income. Pay God first, pay yourself second, then your bills. That's the way it works. Can I explain it? I sure will. Pay God first, then pay yourself, and then pay your bills. Savings. No. Paying God lines up with paying yourself. I mean, you did get up and go make the money. So if you tithe to God, tithe to yourself. That's your saving. We'll get there. You will never move into financial prosperity until you learn to do these things. John D. Rockefeller. Good leadership consists of showing average people how to do the work of superior people. That's what I'm trying to do. We might just be average, but we work on superiority. He was the wealthiest man of his day. He founded Standard Oil. He was asked, how did he become so rich? He said, I live by the 10-10-80 rule. The 10-10-80 rule. 10% to God, 10% to myself, and live off the 80. 10% tithe, 10% my savings account, and learn to budget from the 80. Only a fool would run from what he knows is best. Only a fool would sit in his Bible study and learn how to be prosperous and still run away from it. Are you wise or a fool? Saving is a test of your IQ. Saving is a test of your IQ. For all y'all that ain't got no savings accounts, what's your IQ? Proverbs 21:20. The wise man saves for the future, but the foolish man spends whatever he gets. Every time you get paid, all your money gone. That's a fool. That's a fool. Y'all know that was in the Bible. A wise man saves for the future, but a fool spends every dime he gets. A fool spends every dime he gets. So I ask again, are you wise or are you a fool?
So I buy a lot of stuff, okay? I do. I buy a lot of stuff. I'm definitely working on that. But sometimes I buy this stuff with the intention, right? Because so the stuff, I like to collect things. So the stuff I collect appreciates in value. So I have a lot of stuff that's in the house, like it's not material money right now, but if I sold it tomorrow, I can make more than what I spent on it.
If it's, that would be considered an investment.
Okay, cool. So that's not me going crazy.
Sometimes. If what you are buying does not lose value, but gains value, that's an investment.
Okay.
But a man should still never spend every dime he has.
Oh, no, I don't spend all my money. I just spend a certain amount of money. Sometimes a little bit too much. You know what I'm saying?
Then you need to learn how to budget.
That's it.
Listen. I done had this conversation with several of my sons in here. A real man never walks around with no money in his pocket. And I don't mean a card. You should, listen, you should have some form of money on you as a man at all times. I think it was Abel. I said, take you a 20, fold that puppy up, and put it in the back of the wallet. So if an emergency happens, you could take an Uber, a cab, or something. You should not be a man on the side of the road and you can't move because you ain't got a dime to your name. That's not a man, that's a boy. Call mama and them. And this is a lesson that my mama gave my brother. But since I was nosy, I listened. Because whatever she telling him to save money, I'm going to listen too. And I make sure I ain't never leave with no dime in my pocket. If anything go wrong. See, she only said it to the boy because a man is supposed to be able to cover a woman if something go wrong. So she won't telling me that because whatever man in your life, he's supposed to be making sure he got a dime in his pocket to take care of y'all. But I picked the principle up because I ain't going to get caught nowhere without money in my pocket. I ain't going to get caught nowhere. Emergency happening, you ain't got a dime to your name? Something wrong. The Bible say, you're foolish. Average Japanese save 25% of their income every year. Statistics from last year. Average Japanese person saves 25% of their income. The average European save 18% of their income. Last year, the average American spent 1% more than they made. How we the highest power, I don't know. Because we are in more debt than any other country. I got to have it now. Even if I can't afford it, I'll put it on a credit card. We spend more than we make. So how can you expect not to stay in debt when you are breaking God's financial law to save? He commands you to save money. Retirement. Why saving more for retirement in addition to your pension is a good thing. So many will get to retirement and have absolutely nothing to live on. Listen. With the deficit that our country in, how you got so much faith that you're going to be able to get Social Security when you retire? You mean tell me you got more faith in this government than you do in God? They are constantly talking about how Social Security is going bankrupt. And you really going to depend on them for you to have retirement? You ain't going to say nothing for yourself? Why is this? They are not following God's financial plan. They don't recognize him as the source. They don't put him first, and they don't save. When you save, you make money work for you. While you're sleeping, you are still making money. But if you don't save, if you don't invest, the only time you get increase is when the sweat of your brow. Business owners, can you afford not to invest in your business? I know what they got to do with you. Just listen and learn. It's a good principle. Proverbs 24:27 states, develop your business first before building your house. That what it say? Read it again. Read. Develop your business first before you buy a house. What do you, I just used my notes. What does this mean? If you make any money, reinvest it to make more money before you start buying what you want. If you take all the profit from your business to buy houses and cars and things that you want. What happens if your business have a red month? Before you go spending anything, take the profit that you've earned, reinvest it into your business to get more income before you start buying stuff. Most businesses go under within the first 2 years. Because people don't understand when you open a business, that first 6 months, you don't make no money. It's all reinvestment. If you spend it on yourself first without making more money, you will keep going deeper and deeper in the hole. How does this apply to me? Ain't that what you say? A simple fact is that it's hard to learn. A simple fact that is hard to learn is that the time to save money is when you have some. Nobody talk about saving till they broke. I need y'all to realize that stupidity. Nobody has a conversation about, I'm going to start saving until they broke. When they got money, they don't talk about, I'm going to save. That's backwards. The next time you get a raise, don't go out and spend it. I'm talking to the walls now. If you were already living good, living comfortable off $12 an hour, and you get a raise to $15 an hour, don't start spending the extra $3 an hour. You are making it on 12. Why not take the extra 3 and save or invest? But us, we make more, we spend more. It just don't make no sense. If you're getting by, paying all your bills, eating $12 an hour, continue to live like you're only making $12 an hour. Let that extra 3 be your savings. It's just too simple. You get a stimulus check. You've already been living comfortable before the stimulus check come. Don't go splurge this financial blessing, because that's what it is, a financial blessing. Don't go splurge it. Take that money and put it in the bank. That was money you didn't even have in your budget. Why not save it? But then you'll be complaining, I don't make enough to save. You just got like 3 stimulus checks. You telling me you couldn't save one of them? That means you're spending too much. Act like you didn't even get the raise and let that money begin to work for you. The number one cause for so many people being in debt is a new car. A new car. That's the most not wise decision for any of y'all to make. It just don't make no sense. I have not had a car payment in 12 years. How many of y'all would like to be able to say, I ain't had no car note in 12 years? What could you do? What could you do with the money that you've been paying on your car if you could just have it for 5 years? Do I drive the best car? No, I don't. It's 2022. My car's a 2013 and it still look like maybe like a 2020. Can I go buy another car? Yes, I can. My credit ain't jacked up where I can't go get no car, but I ain't had no car note in 12 years, and I don't plan to ever have a car note again. Because as soon as you buy a car and drive it off the lot, it depreciates by $3,000 just because you drove it off the lot. That means you are now paying interest on something that's not worth what you're paying for. That's just stupid. You're supposed to get a car to get from this place to that place. You don't get a car to try to impress people. Boy, I'm talking to the walls. I'm talking to the walls. It is foolishness to buy a new car. Oh, they had a special. It was a $2,000 cash back. Ninja, you paid $35,000 for the car. That wasn't even a tithe. That's just, listen, you could save your money and pay $3,000 for a car to get you around. Y'all know, I tell all my business anyway. So listen, that 2013 I got out there, I just bought it last year this time. I bought it. I've had no issues with my car. It failed inspection, but it's something minor. I just ain't got it done yet. But I've had no issues with the car. The car's been in the shop since I've got it, and I paid $9,000 for that car. An $18,000 car, I paid $9,000 for it. Why? Because I let the other dum-dums go bound, pay all the interest and overhead on them. And then, like y'all go run and get new iPhones all the time, they run and get new cars. So they just get, I give you $9 for it. Because cash walk water. If you got to go to the bank and get a cashier's check and all that, it be kind of, take time. Somebody else will swoop in there and bought it. Listen, I was on my way, me and Jess, Digging Jess, I was on my way to somewhere up north to buy a 2013 Cadillac. While we was on our way, Jess was taking me up there to get it. I was looking on Facebook in the roundabout cities while I was going, just to see what they had. I saw that pretty pearl white Lincoln. I said, ooh, this is nice. And it was an hour closer than where we was going. And the Cadillac was going to be 10 grand. They asked for 13. I got them down to 10. So I had the money on me. These people asked for 11, so I know I'm going to get them down to 9. Inbox them. Just changed directions. We was only 30 minutes away from him. When I got there, he wants to sell a car. I want to buy a car. He wants $11,000 for it. I got $9,000 cash right here. What's going to happen? And I drove myself on home. No car notes. No car notes. Insurance, less, because all you have to have is liability. Taxes, less, because I'm not running out here trying to get a 2023. I save money all around. God commands us to save. He commands us to live debt-free. But you keep going out here getting these cars trying to impress people, make people think you're trying to impress people who don't even care about you, ain't thinking about you. For what? You the one that got to go to work and work yourself like a dog to try to keep up with the Joneses, and the Joneses ain't got nothing neither. They working like a dog trying to keep up with you and don't know it. No car payment for the last 12 years. I bought one new car in my entire life. One. And I promised myself when I bought that Jeep Grand Cherokee, never ever again. Because I just bought my house. At that time, my house was $394 a month mortgage. With the homeowners association, went up to like $450. My Jeep Grand Cherokee was running me $464. I said, I'm paying more for that car than I am for my house. Never, ever again. Never again. Yeah, I bought a townhouse for $54 grand. Invest, invest, invest. God wants us to prosper financially, to have plenty of money to fulfill the destiny that He has laid out for us. That's what we're not understanding. He has a destiny for you, and you can't reach that destiny broke. He wants you financially strong so that you can fulfill your call over your life. Listen, you can't go out here preaching about how good God is and you got a car that's coming apart and turning off as soon as you. How you going to tell me how good God is every time you talk to me, my car in the shop? Your message is more effective when you're living what you're preaching. I think it's on 2 more slides, y'all. When you make money, you should take it and reinvest it in that which is going to make more money before you go buying anything that you like to have. Most people always go in debt for a new car. Ecclesiastes 11:2. Invest what you have in several different places because you don't know what disasters may happen. Don't put all your savings in one thing because you don't know what's going to get hit. The saying is, don't put all your eggs in one basket. I misprint again, whatever. Invest in several different places. Any stockbroker would tell you that you need to diversify your portfolio. You don't put all your money in one investment. Don't chase money. Don't chase fast money. Proverbs 13:11. Money that comes easily disappears quickly. What? Money that comes easily disappears quickly, but money that is gathered little by little will grow. You know, if somebody give you some free money, when you got your free stimulus, it was gone. But when you work 80 hours and you dog tired, you start looking at your money and you start, if I buy that drink, that means I worked a whole hour to get that drink. It ain't worth it. You start looking at stuff different. You start looking at stuff different. When you don't work for it, you look at it different. Listen, I was like, I got to work. How much I got to work to buy that? No, it ain't worth me working no 3 hours for that. You look at stuff different. The lottery. Fast money. People chasing fast money. They spending $300-400 a month trying to hit the number. And then you look up, $300-400 a month times 12 months. You done spent what? 4 times 12, $4,800. That was your own lottery. If you had to just put your scratch-off ticket in a jar at the end of the month, you say, hey, I hit for $4,800. Well, that's my next. People who win the lottery are broke again within 5 years. It's not because they be taxing on it. They don't know how to spend. Listen, most of us talking about give me all my money now, not realizing the tax gonna bust you in the head because you want all. No, just send me my check. I'm good. I don't know how long it is. But if you die, you will it to somebody else. So you still get it. But give me all my money now. Whatever. Listen, that's why you broke again. You hit for 20 mil. By the time they finish taxing you, you down to like 4.8 mil. Understand, your saving must be consistent. Think about it. If you saved just $5 a week, every week, how much does that give you? $20 a month, 12 months. $240? Is it $240? $240. Just saving $5. But check it, you want a car. How about you save $50 a week? That's $200 a month. In 1 year, that's $2,400. In 2 years, that's $4,800. You could buy a nice car and no car note. You lose no money in interest at all. That's why he says a wise man saves, but a fool spend every dime they get. To be successful, you don't have to be different. You simply have to be what most people are not, consistent. God is teaching it's not about the amount that you save that's important. That's what I'm supposed to say, sorry. It's not about the amount that you save that's supposed to be important. It's the consistency that you do it every week. You tithe every week, save every week. Tithe every month, then save every month. If you ignore God's laws, you don't get God's blessings. But if you do it God's way, the Bible says he will bless you. I need to save money, and I need to do it faithfully. If I don't follow God's laws, I don't get God's blessings. Any questions concerning tonight's lesson? Next week, we will finish 4, 5, and 6 on the 6 principles of building a strong financial foundation. Yes, ma'am.
So my question so I'm soaking everything in, but also I'm trying to come up to the fact of how should I be paying my debts then? Because what I'm doing is I'm tithing, paying debts, paying bills at the same time as debt. And I save a little bit, but I'm trying to pay off debts faster than.
Let me tell you what I told him about when it comes to saving and paying off debt. If you have a credit card these days running 25, 30% interest, it makes no sense for you to put money into a savings account and get 3% at most interest when you're paying 25% interest on that credit card. What you need to do is focus on knocking one credit card out at a time. And you need to start with the most expensive one, because that's the one that's killing you in interest. When I say most expensive one, the highest interest rate. Okay. And depending upon how much you owe, you might want to, depending on how much you owe and what the interest rates are like, you might want to do a refinance on your home, pay off all your debt, because the interest that you pay on your mortgage, you can claim on your taxes. But you can't claim none of that interest that you pay on credit cards. As a single person with no kids, they bust you in the head with taxes. So you really want to get every tax break that you can get. So it would be better, not right now because the interest rates are so high, but like when they drop down, to refinance that house and put all your debt in the house, because you can claim it and you get the tax break. But you don't get no tax breaks for your debt, your cars, your credit cards, none of that. But listen. Y'all don't get none of these. Listen, London, listen. Stop getting these payday loans and personal loans and listen, all this stuff, and the interest rates are 20% and higher. 20% and higher. That's throwing away your money. It's literally throwing your money away. Well, not throwing away. It's literally giving your money away. It's giving it away.